It's a great day for hockey here in Blaine, Minnesota. My name is Eric Zamora, bringing you the play-by-play of this evening's matchup in the 2011 division of the 2024 North American Female Elite Showcase. We've got Team West Can taking on Great Lakes, Wisconsin. Great Lakes in the white jerseys with baby blue numerals outlined in navy blue. They go from right to left. Team West Can in their away dark jerseys, the black jerseys with white numerals outlined in red. They go from left to right, and that is going to be Cala Cleveland getting it in deep, as these two teams have not played the same number of games to this point. This is the second game for Team West Can, the third for Great Lakes. Just onside as that was fed over to Madeline or Mad Dog Licadini. Announced as Mad Dog in by the PA announcer for the starting lineup, so I feel pretty comfortable. And sometimes coaches will say, oh, they go by a nickname, and you're like, do they really? But if it's official enough for that, we'll go with it. For Great Lakes, it is Adeline or Addie Hop who played that one behind the cage. Team West Can cutting through, as that was Zoe Papachristopoulos. Well offside as Team West Can gains the zone. And so we will have a face-off outside the blue line, defended by Great Lakes, Wisconsin. They fell by scores of 3-1 to Team Minnesota Purple and 6-3 to the Western Selects Red. Team West Can shut out by the Western Selects Red 4-0, excuse me. Firing a shot, it's tipped right on and in. A fantastic setup by Macy Heitens. It took a redirection, but I believe that was friendly fire. We'll get confirmation here in a moment, but I believe that was Heitens putting one on target, and they always say never a bad idea to put a puck on net and see where it goes from there. That is going to put the home squad, the Great Lakes, up by a score of 1-0. Just a minute 38 gone by here in the period. So Heitens indeed credited with the goal, no assists. And Great Lakes picks up a big goal. A tone setter, if you will. And obviously a bad break for Team West Can, as the skater there just trying, as that one kicks off of the left pad of Hop, trying to thwart a bouncing puck or a dangerous puck, and instead ends up putting it in the net. Backhanded over, good offering there by Kessia Lahner. A blocker save, rather, as that was taken out front by Aspen Gall, or AJ as she prefers. Gathered at the blue line and kept in the zone momentarily. Stepping up was Geisler. They're able to slip right around her. But the second line of defense there, as Heitens comes up with a play. Now over for Lahner. Picking up some speed is Lauren Kim. Kim slams on the brakes, lost her footing, still able to make the play. Skating onto it is Jenna Volgren. Volgren, centering pass. Couldn't find anybody not wearing black and red. Now an opportunity the other way. Here's Cleveland. Cuts through, but defended well as Geisler knifes that one away from him from a tough angle to the netminder's left, and she'll hold on for the whistle. Hop, as a starting D pairing, had Addie Parker and Reese Algram out in front of her. That top line is Gall, centering Volgren and Licadini. Glove save on the offering. That came from the point and Papachristopoulos. Played back to the right side, and that one will escape Jahardi. And that's Kesley, I was told, even though it looked like it was spelled Kelsey, although that honestly could have been a slight in the rosters put together, because sometimes when a name is similar to a popular one, but a little bit different, people hear or see the wrong thing. Played all the way down, hop. We'll stick that and leave it for Algrim. Algrim with a ton of speed. A left-hand shot, centering pass, and that got through. Slowed down by Scarlett, but still able to come across. Algrim dishes, hands off to Parker. 2 left-hand shots. Playing defense. Looks like Parker playing the left side, Algrim playing the offhand defenseman. Good opportunity in tight from Danica Mikan. A collision at center ice. Will have no call from it. Played out of the zone by Allie Hallam. She's the daughter of one of the coaches, Mark Hallam. Adam Redmond, the other coach. Flipped around, and it's going to be gathered by Fleming. Fleming will play down the length of the ice, icing the call. We talked about the starters for Great Lakes, for Team Westcan. Isla Ollie in between the pipes. Her starting D pairing, Ella Latimer and the aforementioned Jahardi. Lily Redmond centering Calla Cleveland, and Gracie Bray as the wings. Stopping and starting, Launer. Did a nice job there to peel back and avoid contact. This one will go the length of the ice. However, this time there will be no icing. Good pressure, and withstanding that was Isabel Nicole. Across the line, slamming on the brakes, Chloe Parks. Deflected and just wide. A pass found by Gall, and she had to turn, kind of lost that as it was a little bit too straight behind her. Mentioned in the game before. There's a centering pass out front, found Licadini, but unfortunately on her backhand initially, not her forehand. By the time she brought it to her forehand, she was pressured. Latimer will bring it into the offensive zone, but if you have a pass that's directly, you almost need to be a little bit off either to the right or the left of where that pass from behind is coming from. Otherwise, you lose sight of it, and it was a good job by the youngster to track that one down, even though it wasn't the easiest to see. Kept in just at the line. Fantastic job by Papa Christopoulos. Remember, that puck can get onto the blue paint at the neutral line. In fact, or the blue line, it can actually go into neutral ice as long as some of it is on or over that blue line. Flipped all the way down, and just on target, that's going to wave off icing. Papa Christopoulos flips it around. Ollie doing a nice job there, seeing that was coming on target and had to play it. Would have loved to take an icing instead. There's a easy save from her by Heitens, but the Wisconsin-based Great Lakes squad looking for where that puck might end up. Had an opportunity to talk to the coaching staffs of both of these squads, kind of get an idea where they're based, as you would imagine. These girls coming from different cities and sometimes even different regions, but primarily Team Westcan out of southern Alberta. They consider Calgary their home base, or as Sammy McKee of the Kipper and Bourne Show would say, Calgary. As for Great Lakes, kind of all over the state of Wisconsin. Didn't really have a city to note, although they did say there are some players across the border in the Chicago area, a couple of them. Looking for a centering pass is Mikan. She'll get disrupted. Mikan still with it. And now the official has to dance out of the way. Steele trying to get out of the zone and does. Papa Christopoulos just plays that immediately back in. And there's a centering pass to nobody but to open space. And that works as the Great Lakes squad in need of a change. They get one thanks to Jenna Steele. Papa Christopoulos on the backhand, tees it up. There's a blocker save, and then another held onto as not quite the Snow Angel, but the netminder, Addie Hopp, sits on that one. And by any means necessary, sometimes style points get thrown out the window when it comes to goaltenders. Just to ask Dominic Hasek. They didn't always look good. But the saves come nonetheless. There's a stick save made by Hopp as she steers that one into the corner over her left shoulder. The Wisconsin squad, Great Lakes, feeds it up to Kim. A collision there by Nicole. That was right in that neighborhood of whether or not it would be called. There was no penalty call, but they check on Kim as she's slow to get up. As Team Westcan looked like they were starting to have an opportunity there to come back in transition. Good to see Kim able to get up on her own accord and skate off. And now a conversation with the officials and the coaching staff for Team Wisconsin. I think this might be something as simple as, hey, just a reminder, we do have the ability here at the Super Rink, if something is severe enough, where we'll go ahead and make sure the player gets off. Looked like the coach started to come onto the ice and then was asked to stay back on the bench. 5:22 left to go here in period number one. Team Wisconsin, or Great Lakes rather, getting on the board early thanks to Macy Heitens. Took a shot from the left point and inadvertently tipped in their own net by Team Westcan for an unassisted goal. And that came just 98 seconds into our contest. Both these squads looking for their first victory on the weekend. In pool play, as this one icing waved off, stepping up is Geisler. Looked like she was going to try to race to keep that in the zone. Thought better of it, and I think that was a good idea. Might have gotten caught if she tried to step up with a ton of speed. Here comes Licadini, and she'll move it from left to right. Across the goal mouth, Volgren gets a good look at it. Now backing up is Heitens, and played right back in by Geisler. Licadini with Volgren applying pressure. They had it for a moment, and it's poked deep, and now Team Westcan will fire that one all the way down. Jahardy is going to be called for the icing. However, not a bad decision when you factor in, unlike the highest levels, the pros, collegiate hockey, and even junior hockey, where you're not able to make a change after your team is whistled for an icing. Not the case here. So sometimes you'll take an icing just because you need some fresh personnel. And Heitens steps up, feeds that to Steele. Steele wastes no time, and then again, she sweeps at it. Didn't get a lot on it, but did get it on target. And a stop made there by the netminder as Ollie comes up big. Tracking this one down is Allie Hallam. Not to be mistaken for Isla Ollie. Icing will bring it back down into the west end. That is defended by Team Westcan appropriately here in period number one, and will again in 3. You're watching the 2011 division of the 2024 North American Female Elite Showcase. Firing one, hitting the short side of the net from the outside bar was Reese Algram. She'll now retreat as West Can breaks out. Getting that ahead to Gracie Bray. Stepping up was Gall to get it out, and then it looked like she saw some pressure coming and avoided it ahead of time. Not a bad decision there. Bray works it down low. Gets angled out, but still able to make a play on it. And now turning the corner with some speed. Dancing through. Algram fires. That got caught in the skate of Hallam. Centering pass to the right circle for Licadini. And that's going to be held onto by the netminder, Ollie. Up next for Team West Can, they've got a pair of contests tomorrow. At 1:30 over on Rink 3, they'll take on the Manitoba All-Stars. Then Team Minnesota Purple at 6:30. That's on Rink 2. The Great Lakes squad will wrap up the pool play portion of their 2024 NAFES at 8:30 tomorrow morning, taking on the Manitoba All-Stars. Licadini looked to be off to the races, but a nice job there. Last girl back, Kesley Jahardy, she was able to knife that away. High up and over the crossbar, Heighton's offering. But just really graceful as she let that one go and then immediately peeled back and said, I know I've got to get back and cover my responsibilities on the defensive side. And didn't sit there and watch and wait. There's a offering from Jahardy that missed on the short side, but I don't know that she was trying to get that one on target. Was looking for either a deflection or maybe even a inadvertent bounce off of her opposition. She didn't find either as that one missed wide. Geisler will play that deep and then head off for a change. Latimer handles it. It's played up, not out. And now stripped away. Here comes Mikan. Danica Mikan goes in on a solo mission, fires a shot, and put that one right on. Hop able to defend it well. Mikan went in 1-on-2 and still got off a grade A opportunity. There's a drop pass for Aiden Muldrow. 30 seconds left to go in our opening 15, and we're going to have our first penalty of the contest. And it's going to be Zoe Papachristopoulos headed to the sin bin. I believe cross-check was the call. With 25.9 left on the clock. Draw comes to the left of the netminder. And they stand up Genevieve Scarlett. Or rather, she does the standing up. She'll stay patient and switch off, as it was then Hallam to apply the pressure.
Zoe Papachristopoulos. 2 minutes for cross-checking.
It is indeed a cross-check. And the horn will sound with a minute 35 left to go in the man advantage. It is Great Lakes on top by a score of 1-0. We don't have a resurfacing here, so we'll be back in just 60 seconds, but I'll pause the mic here for a moment, and we'll be back with period number 2. Great Lakes on top of Team West Can 1-0 in the 2011 division. The 2024 North American Female Elite Showcase right here on Youth Hockey Hub. Second period just underway. We have 1:35 left of a power play for Great Lakes. They have a 1-0 lead. They're in the home white jerseys with blue names and numerals. They go from left to right. Liccadini got tangled up and tripped up there, but no call, and I would agree it was more of a 50-50 collision than anything. Geisler had Liccadini pegged, couldn't quite find her. Heitens switches over. This time they'll go left to right, and that works out. Steele with a centering pass. Sticked away by the goaltender. Tracking this one down is Gall. Gall stops, starts, feeds it, and a shot whistling wide. Missing on the short side as the shooter saw it far side for us here in the broadcast area. This is flipped all the way down. And the netminder, Hop, lets that one go. Looked like initially she was looking for an icing call, forgot the situation. Although I have seen sometimes in tournaments like this, you play enough tournaments and they're all got a little bit different rules. Some of those, as that's covered up by the netminder, even short-handed, teams will be called for an icing if they play it the length of the ice. Face-off in the offensive zone for Great Lakes, but it's controlled by Team Westcan. Bray with it, snaps a shot, glove save made by Hop, and realizing that she'd like to get rid of that puck and allow her team on the power play to avoid a defensive zone face-off. Not much she could do with the Team Westcan squad ready to pounce, and in addition to that, we're 2 seconds away from being full strength, and we are indeed once again skating 5-on-5. Algrim swings it around the bend. That will slow down, and Pop Christopoulos just fresh out of the box. We'll play it. Here's Fleming. Fleming finds a lane and sets it up for Kim. Kim knifes it. Papa Christopoulos. We'll see that as a green light to try to advance gameplay. And Algrim had that stolen away from Gall, but they're teammates. And one of those where she turned, didn't expect to see somebody in tight quarters, and that worked out for the Great Lakes squad. You see sometimes those, you don't expect a teammate that close, and it ends disastrously as there's a collision, and the other squad is off the other way, and with numbers because of the player or several players taking a spill. Rimmed around the boards and knifed high using a pitching wedge to get that out of the zone. was McKenna Billick. And a couple of times where I wanted to call her name, but kind of had the jersey tucked into the breezers. Hard to make it out. Here's Mikan. Mikan is steered wide and still nearly tucked that one in. Had the high short side pegged. There's a collision as skating into Nicole was Volgren, but will play on. Ligadini gets it out of the zone. That's most important. Hallam dumps that at the goaltender, but off target. And there's a big distinction and need there, because had that been on target, it would have been offside. Fighting to get that one in. And around is Nicole. Now, Ligadini with some speed up the right side, cuts to the middle. Waits and couldn't get the shot off. A nice job there defensively by Latimer. There's a glove save. A fantastic offering off the stick of Lauren Kim. Not only had a player out front to try and provide a screen, but also with the stick was looking for a deflection. Couldn't find one, and finding it in her glove was Isla Ali, and she'll hold on for the whistle. This draw will come to the right of the netminder with 11:08 left here in our middle stanza. Redmond on the draw, pushed forward by Team West Can, but they couldn't get out. Geisler, the last line of defense to keep the zone. Geisler now steps up. Had that one poked away from her by Sandylands, and Sierra Sandylands takes that one right in the logo at the stomach. There's a right toe save off an offering from Steele. Bobbing and weaving is Geisler. She'll slide that over for Heitens. Redmond pressured. That one did go over the line just barely, but it's enough to reset the zone, force the Team West Can to bring it in onside. They did not, and the offside whistle will stop action. Again, these two teams looking for their first victory of the 2024 North American Female Elite Showcase. With the goal earlier, Heitens joins four other teammates with the team lead, with all 5 goals scored by Great Lakes coming from different players. And that makes it harder to game plan when you've got depth and you're not quite sure where the offense is going to come from. Parker got tangled up, taken down, but inadvertent and no real advantage gained, so that whistle doesn't blow. There's a glove save made by the netminder. Unable to maintain possession, but Papa Christopoulos there to sweep it away. At the other end, Nicole, centering pass. Nobody home, at least not wearing white and blue. Knifed away from Kim, who I just realized as that one is up and over the crossbar. Doesn't have the last name on it. It looks like, though, there actually is a last name on, just must not be hers, as they've got some white duct tape to cover that up. Initially, with her mostly playing on the opposite side of the ice, looked like it was just a blank jersey in the nameplate. Here is the aforementioned Kim. And that is swept away from her into the corner. Liccadini got a touch on it. Now Heitens will be pursued by Scarlett. And Heitens cuts to the middle to cut her off. Didn't use the turn signal, didn't need to. Nice job by Liccadini to get enough on that to keep it in the zone. Skating onto it was Gall. Backhand centering pass attempt, but that goes into the corner. Geisler awaits at the blue line, either for a West Can attempted clearance to hit her or if her teammates have been able to feed her. Neither happened. Heitens does make a good defensive play in the corner. Just out of the reach of Heitens, Team Westcamp. And Heitens making it difficult for her opposition to gain an inch. There's a breakout pass, and now a 2-on-1 develops. Across the line is Gall, feeds it over. And Muldrow lost it for a moment. They'll feed it back to the point. There's a collision, and we're going to have a penalty coming up on Westcamp. This is going to be considered a body check. You could also call checking from behind, as it wasn't intentional, but the advantage was still there for sure. Time of the penalty, 7 minutes and 21 seconds. And so we will have a power play for the second time for Great Lakes. Isabel Nicole, fresh off the bench, and it should be noted, this is the period it's most difficult to make changes as your bench is furthest from the goal you're defending. There's a snapshot right into the glove of the netminder, and Ollie holds on, no rebound given. Face off. And it's Kim at the dot for Great Lakes, instead won by Westcan. And Steele offers one up from just along the boards, just inside the blue line. Snagged by the netminder, Ollie, and officially not a shot on goal as it was wide, but that makes the save even all that more impressive. She had not just the net and goalpost covered, but beyond. Right into the slot. There's a big drive by Parker, punched out by the blocker of Ollie. A slap shot, and that hits iron, kissing off the crossbar.
Number 17, Isabel Nicole. 2 minutes for body checking. Time of the penalty.
1:16 left to go in the man advantage. Dancing with it is Kim. She circles the wagon.
Team Westcan.
Papa Christopoulos keeps her at bay. Stepping up, floats that one that just kissed the edge of the crease, top edge of it, and then quickly went below the goal line. Great decision there by Papa Christopoulos. Everybody's expecting Kim, although Kim initially looking over her right shoulder, then turned to or over her left shoulder, and that puck had gotten to her in between when her head was turned, losing sight of it. The Great Lakes squad will be whistled for icing. Mike Lang and Andy Steele, the coaches for Great Lakes, Wisconsin. I would assume Andy related to Jenna, but forgot to ask that as I went through the pronunciations with the coaching staff ahead of time. Up for Fleming. Fleming is played off of it by Papa Christopoulos. A 2-on-1 advantage at the blue line for Team Westcan. And the numbers work out. There's a backhand pass over, and it's in! A fantastic pass across by, I believe that was Calla Cleveland, who set the table. And then a finish there, and it looks like they're going to go ahead and change up the lines, but a fantastic play across. And tapped in from the backside. 2:28 left to go here in period number 2. And we've got ourselves a 1-1 ball game.
Team Westcan goal scored by number 16, Sierra Sandilands. The single assist go to number 82, Calla Cleveland.
It was indeed Cleveland that set the table, and Sandilands wasted no time. 1 times the feed, and Hop got a piece of it, not enough to keep it out. it trickles over and through, and Team Westcan has not only evened up the game, they pick up their first goal of the tournament. Again, small sample sizes. They only had one game prior. But Cleveland with the fantastic pass, not to take anything away from Sandylands, accurate, had enough on it, and most importantly, got rid of it quickly. But Cleveland doing the prep work, as it were, and she was able to skate it in, draw enough attention to her, not just from the skaters, but the goaltender, and then leave Sandylands all alone to cash in on the backside. Brought across by Algram. She's met with resistance immediately by Latimer. Steele had that kickoff of her stick and then skate. Mikan got tangled up by Steele, and Steele knocked down, will play on. Here comes Mikan. Mikan had that knocked off of her possession right before she was able to pull the trigger. Steele gets that out. And Papa Christopoulos had Cleveland pegged for a pass. Had that one intercepted. Swung around to Papa Christopoulos. Good deception there. Made it look like she was going to take it underneath the cage. Instead went the other way. Now eventually goes behind her netminder. And tapped forward there, and a good decision by Geisler. Instead of trying to blast that, just feed it forward. Well, the Team Westcan squad gets the equalizer as Sierra Sandylands scores from Cala Cleveland, and we've got ourselves a winner-take-all third period coming up. 1-1 after two are complete. You're watching the 2011 division of the 2024 North American Female Elite Showcase right here on Youth Hockey Hub. Third period underway and brought right in by Team Great Lakes. They had a 1-0 lead going into the second. That has evaporated, and we are in a deadlocked third period, at least to start. Played up, not out. Parker jumped on that, glove down to disrupt the play. Great Lakes able to withstand and head the other way. Coming darting in the other way was Volgren. This is chipped up by Gal. Gall still fighting for it. Now brought to the forehand of Algram. Towards the net, not quite on target. As watching that one go into the corner was Ollie. Papa Christopoulos had to double clutch and find it as Kim was cutting across the bow and may have thrown her off. Kim reaches as desperately as she can to see if she can get a touch on that one, just out of her wingspan, and so we will have an icing call against Great Lakes. That comes with 13:41 left to go here in regulation. One to the left point and kicked out by the netminder. Fed ahead, a great pass to Kim as Muldrow now looks for a return as she drives the lane. Kept in by Geisler. Geisler waited and spun herself so that one would hit her forehand. Meanwhile, getting hit by the puck was Jahardi. She eats a shot in the skate boot. Seems to be no worse for the wear. We're going to have a penalty as Nicole is dumped going in for that puck. 12:55 left to go in the third. And the worst part about it for Great Lakes, well, you could make the argument that who it is, Lauren Kim, a valuable player, but also an offensive zone penalty, and that one really hurts a coaching staff. Sometimes there's nothing you can do. You've got to take a penalty in the defensive zone, even once in a while in the neutral third, but when you get called for one in the offensive zone, it can really frustrate a squad saying we had something going, and now it's brought back all the way at the other end, and this one starts to ride up the back of the net. Backhanded and feeding the point is Sandylands. Keep in mind she's got the goal for Team Westcan. Jahardi.
That's Kim of Great Lakes for body checking.
So Kim called for the body check. Again, both of the body checking penalties we've seen were kind of collisions from behind where they could see the numbers. Some contact is going to be, they're a little bit more lenient in the positioning. But when it comes from behind, that's going to be called nearly every time. 12 minutes left to go in the period, rather. Minute left to go now on the man advantage. And this is broken up by Heitens. Heitens has been a thorn in the side of Team Westcan all game long. Started just 98 seconds in with the goal, but she's been physical and certainly been breaking up plays. Breaking up a pass momentarily was Licadini. Team Westcan responds to it. Here's Licadini. She leads her squad in points with a goal and 2 assists. Backhanding that up the line was Parker. This will go the length of the ice and tracked down by Papa Christopoulos. She checks over both shoulders, sees that she has plenty of time and space to work with. 10 seconds left to go on the power play. Gains the blue line. Looks to tee up a cannon. Misses on the short side. Floated. And now a player out of the box for Great Lakes, and joining is Kim, Papa Christopoulos. Throws it towards the cage. Algram. Make sure that one never got to her netminder. Bray. Defended well by Licadini, and then in the process, she loses her stick at the end of a shift. She decides out, I'll just head off for a change. Both players get tangled up, and I think both sides thought that maybe they would have gotten a call going their way. Probably just as deserved no call either way as Algram and Nicole both hit the ice. 10-12 left to go here in period number 3. It's a scoreless period, 1-1 overall. Great Lakes scoring in the first, Team Westcan responding in the second. Chloe Parks comes away with it, and she'll rim that around the boards. Muldrow, centering pass. And she had Volgren in her sights. But a good job there by Team Westcan, and specifically Genevieve Scarlett, of staying net side of her opposition. Coming away with it is Parks. Parks banks this for Sandylands. Algram gained it at the red line, skated backwards to move forward. Here's Algram. Has that one poked away from her. And then right off of the tape of Scarlett. A tie-up momentarily in front of the West Can bench and hammered by Algram around the boards. Here's Hallam. Feeds that up the line. Mikan does her part. But it's deflected, popped up, snapping a shot, and just above the pad, low on the netminder. But Ollie coming up with a glove save and holds on for a whistle. 8:53 left to go here in period number 3. And with the score even and a low-scoring affair at that, at 1-1, you've got to imagine both teams thinking there's a very real chance next goal is going to be a game winner. Bobbing and weaving through the middle was Cleveland. Cleveland defended well by Heitens. Poked up and chopping at it was Cleveland as Latimer let that one go from the left point. Still with it, in control, is Lahner. Lahner slalomed from right to left. And a great redirection as Gall deflected the offering from Heitens. There's a shot, and in tight, Ollie once again comes up big. Stopping and starting, they find Lahner, although the offering from Geisler, because she's a right-handed shot, kind of just deflected it on and outside of her wheelhouse. We are 15 seconds away from the halfway point of the third. Still deadlocked at 1. Jahardy charges through the middle, and Great Lakes as a team defends her well. Nobody stepping up and trying to do it solo. They used the group. It was brought back into the zone, but it was brought in by the defensive team. So while it looked initially like there was going to be an offside call, because Team West Can brought it in, and that's why the official, you could see for a moment he wanted to blow that dead, but I like the idea of an official saying, wait, let me process this in my mind for a half a moment, and got the call right there. That one just outside of the reach of Billick. Billick had an interception teed up for her and just unable to get there. A shot and a deflection that goes up and over the crossbar. Billick trying to cut through a couple of Great Lakes players. Might have been able to beat one, not two. Billick feeds it ahead, and that's moved on by Parks. Down low, and Sandylands swings it over Billick towards the middle. It's fought off from there. Scarlett tees one up. And now she'll wait at the right point. Out there with Papa Christopoulos, 2 left-handed shots, so one of them has to play the offhand defenseman. And a nice job there by Sandylands. Her and Scarlett working together were just able to keep that one in the zone. Still there, and now Parks feeds it down low. Tapped back around. Scarlett tries to seal the wall and does. Then on the backhand, gets it down low. Sandylands will tie up her opposition. 5:45 left to go in a tied third period. Tracking this down is going to be Gracie Bray. Bray wheels, has a ton of momentum behind her, and that is slowed down substantially by Volgren. Ahead for Kim. Kim lost it and tries to win that back from Cleveland. Down low. And tangled up was Geisler. She takes some contact to make a play. Pass kind of in no man's land between Kim and Liccadini. Liccadini ended up being the closest one to come away with it. Now, Heitens lost the handle, and it came out of the zone. Because of it, a delayed offside, but Cleveland trying to get that down and out, unfortunately gets called for an icing, and that'll bring it back down with 4:52 left to go here in our third. Again, up next for these two squads, Team Westcan has a pair tomorrow. They'll take on the Manitoba All-Stars at 1:30. That's over on Rink 3. On Rink 2, they've got Team Minnesota Purple at 6:30. Great Lakes has one game tomorrow. The Manitoba All-Stars at 8:30 in the morning back here on Rink 4. There's a play by Heitens to get it down low, sent on target by Launer, but her deflection took most of the steam out of the shot, and it was kind of a slow roller by the time it got to Ali. Centering pass out front, nobody home. Heitens, and the left-handed shot made that more difficult of a play. This is stolen away. Racing back and disrupting that. There's a follow-up shot as pouncing on it was Redmond. A drive, doesn't get through, blocked. Hallam backhands it down low. Sandylands tries to send that through. Here's Papa Christopoulos. Down low for Sandylands. Launer comes away with it and looked for Fleming. She'll take plan B, which was just getting it off target. That one took a weird bounce at the very end, about 2 feet out in front of the netminder. Hop, and there's a save made by the goaltender as she had both the pads and the stick down, and we'll hold that thought for a moment, but some great goaltending shown by her here in shots that didn't look as difficult as I think they were. This is played ahead, and it will die in time for it to be skated onto and avoid an icing. Here's Kim. She'll spin away from some contact, fighting through, and gets tangled up. Then ends up inadvertently tripping up a Team Westcan player. Will skate on. Cleveland is spun, but able to make the handoff for Parks. Squirts out to the red line. Now skating onto it is Algrim. Algrim rips a shot, glove save made by the netminder, and Ollie will hold on. Going back a few moments, a couple of saves made there by Adeline Hop, and one of them was a shot from far enough out that it didn't look like it would be an issue, but it took a weird skim and a bounce at the last moment. She was going to play it with the stick, but missed it there, but because she was in a good position, a lot of the highlights that you see of goaltenders are these big reactionary saves, but most saves are because they are positionally sound and let the puck hit them. It's only when that shot is just a little bit outside of their frame, and then you see them reaching out with the, whoa, there's one thrown through, and a nice job of Hop not to react to it and inadvertently either deflect it in off herself or leave a bad rebound. Papa Christopoulos keeps that one in. That one was about to skirt and hit the blue paint, but never even got there. Bobbing and weaving through. Now following up on her own effort is Steele. Papa Christopoulos with 2:10 left. Gets that up the left side. It's kept in. And the Team Westcan bench thought that one had gone over the line. It hadn't, and even got the confirmation from the official shaking his head saying, nope, I was there, I saw it the whole way, and that one never got out of the zone. Licadini takes some contact and is dropped. Pops right back up, and she's ready to get back at it. Algrim has to spin away from some forechecking pressure. This is going to be turned over. And luckily a recovery for the Great Lakes squad, as that was Parker stepping up to make sure that one didn't end up in the back of their net. 82 seconds left to go. Lead pass ahead. Licadini does get a touch on it, but it's going to be covered up, and the netminder actually hadn't had coverage of it. Meanwhile, afterwards, and we're going to have this is a high sticking penalty? It looked like Licadini, is heading to the bench, but they're going to escort her over to the box. Allie looked like she covered it, but it actually slipped just out of her glove and was sitting next to her. Obviously, once an official loses sight of it and thinks that it's been covered, they blow the whistle. There's not much that they can do, but a huge break for Team Westcan as a penalty is taken, and it goes from a defensive zone restart to an offensive zone restart for Team Westcan. This comes with 77 seconds left to go. Now, I take that back. It's offsetting penalties. So that is why they're indicating it's going to stay in the zone. I saw the initial player, Liccadini, heading to the box, but I believe that's Latimer that will join her, not in the same box, but in the sin bin as it were. And so it looks like we will remain 5-on-5. 1:17 left to go. The draw is going to come to Allie's left. A good tie up there. Here's Heitens. Heitens. And following it up, a great look by A.J. Gall. Heitens teed it up. It was blocked by an arm, maybe even an elbow of a Westcan player, and a late change by Team Westcan. They actually changed up their forward line at the last moment. And because of that, you've got 3 players racing to get off. Nice job keeping that one in the zone by Heitens. Heitens has Cleveland and comes in, slows her down. Cleveland still with it. Rings it around. Here's Papa Christopoulos. Tries to go below the goal line. That is picked off by Gall. Gall has to deal with Sandy Lance, and Sandy Lance wins that battle. Papa Christopoulos had it, plays it forward. Geisler the other way to Volgrim with a toe drag. Volgrim took a spill, but it was after the play. There wasn't any contact there. Big pad save, and then Papa Christopoulos tries to follow it up herself. Kim looking to get physical on the board, and Papa Christopoulos just had her bounce right off of her. A save on the short side. Here's Papa Christopoulos. Fans on the shot, and Kim gets it out of the zone. Contact there by Papa Christopoulos, and a big collision there with 3 seconds left. Chance perhaps for one last shot. No, as that was brought in offside. So the intensity and physicality of the contest dialed up to 11 there in the closing minutes of regulation. We will take a step away from the action, and we will have a 60-second break between a 5-minute 3-on-3 period. Or excuse me, 3 minutes of 3-on-3. That's coming up next. 1-1 the score. It is Team Westcan and the Great Lakes, Wisconsin. You're watching the 2011 division of the 2024 North American Female Elite Showcase right here on Youth Hockey Hub. Three on three upcoming. It is Team WestCan in the black jerseys, white and red. They go left to right. In the white home jerseys with blue and black, skate Great Lakes. They traded goals in the first 2 periods, and it is a 3-minute 3-on-3. Played ahead for Gall, up the right wing side. And Sandylands will feed that back. Gall doing a good job despite being outnumbered. Now Sandylands with it. Just onside with Cleveland. And she's got Papa Chrysopoulos at the left point if they can get it there. Tying up Sandylands is Parker. Gall jumping in as well, as does Cleveland. Algram waiting out front of her netminder. Papa Chrysopoulos with a shot, a blocker save, and it left a rebound just to the side of the cage and below the goal line. Papa Chrysopoulos will back up Gall as it is Team WestCan making the first substitution of the period. As coming on is Mikan. Papa Chrysopoulos. Long pass ahead for Mikan. Catches it on the backhand. Brings it forehand. It stays in the zone and then knifed by Bray. Papa Chrysopoulos will make a change. She's replaced by Gerhardy. Centering pass. Kim will come away with it. Kim plays that over for Geisler. Geisler, as waiting at the line, is Launer. Geisler with a drive and is fought off by Ollie. Minute 17 seconds left to go on the 3-on-3 period. And that hits the official. He was moments before that trying to avoid getting hit and then didn't expect the second puck towards him. Or I shouldn't say didn't expect it, but got caught up in a position where he couldn't avoid it. Here's Geisler. Geisler feeds that ahead. Waiting was Steele. And as soon as that one gained the zone, she was off to the races. Here's Steele. Steele looking for a centering pass, and that's going to be brought in by the netminder. Ollie uses her paddle to pull it in like a fisherman reeling in a bass. She's able to hold on to that one with 35.8 left to go here in period number 4. And a late change, it'll be Mad Dog Licadini to take the offensive zone faceoff. One back by Parks, but Licadini gets a shot off anyway. Fought off by Ali. Stepping up was Heitens. She's got the lone goal for Great Lakes for Team WestCan. It was Sierra Sandylands. WestCan will break out. Feed it up ahead and played forward for Parks. Parks will slam on the brakes. Licadini is able to use her skates and kick that away. Parks has a player out front and they fire a shot. It's just off the mark. As Cleveland fires one in the dying seconds that goes off target. And so we will head to a shootout. Oh, excuse me. I thought that we had gone to a shootout. It's just later in the tournament that we need a victor. So a 1-1 overtime tie between Great Lakes and Team WestCan. Again, a quick scoring summary. Unassisted goal for Macy Heitens. That came back just 98 seconds into this game. A game that at the time looked like it might be high scoring anything, but that unassisted goal gave her squad a 1-0 lead. But it was equalized by Sierra Sandylands, scoring from Cala Cleveland at 12:32 of period number 2. And that's the only scoring we have for the contest. We'd like to thank you for tuning in for myself and for Greg Tinty. A final here from Rink 4 at the Super Rink. It was Team WestCan 1, Great Lakes 1 in the 2011 division of the 2024 North American Female Elite Showcase right here on Youth Hockey Hub.